Welcome, everyone. So you've got this big goal, right? Maybe it's a major career change or finally getting good at some tough skill.
Or that side project that's just been sitting there living in your head.
Exactly. And what happens? You jump online, search how to succeed, and bam, you're just buried, absolutely buried under this, like, avalanche of advice.
Oh, yeah. Marketing tips, money hacks, all the mindset gurus.
It's overwhelming. The sheer amount of information, it often stops you cold before you even really begin.
And that overload, that's the big paralyzer, isn't it?
Yeah.
We get so caught up trying to find the perfect external thing, the right talent, the perfect market, the secret timing, that we completely forget about the inside job, the internal foundation you need for anything long-term.
Right.
And what the sources we looked at make incredibly clear is, well, if the inside isn't working, nothing you try on the outside is really going to stick.
And that's exactly our mission for this deep dive. We went through a whole stack of material, behavioral science, biographies of really successful people, and it all kind of boils down to this blueprint. 7 core pillars for, well, unstoppable growth.
A clear path.
Yeah. So today we're stripping away all those external distractions. We're focusing completely on the core truths, self-belief, that disciplined consistency, and building a truly unbreakable mindset.
We want to give you the tools. The tools to stop wondering if you can do it.
And start building the actual proof inside yourself that you will.
And what really stands out from the material is how logical it all is. It's not just a random list of tips,
No, it's structured.
Very much so. It starts right at the beginning, building that fundamental inner power, the belief you're capable. Then it moves into, okay, how do you sustain action? And finally, how do you protect all that progress from doubt, from getting too comfortable?
So if you've ever wondered, what really separates the person who just dreams about a business from the one who actually builds it and keeps going for years?
This is it.
This is the answer. We're tackling that fundamental question. How do we build the internal operating system we need to hit those big long-term goals and just keep going, especially when, the initial excitement fades?
Which it always does.
Always. Okay, let's unpack this blueprint. Pillar number 1. So we kick things off with lesson 1. Belief. Now, I know for some people that word belief, it can sound a bit fluffy maybe, like motivational speak.
Sure, it can have that vibe. But the sources we looked at, they define it very practically. It's not just a feeling. It's like a cognitive requirement for taking action.
A requirement?
Yeah. They call it the invisible force, the thing that truly separates someone who just thinks about doing something from someone who actually achieves it. It's the starter motor for the engine.
Okay, so it's not about waiting for luck or money.
No. Success doesn't start there. Not with talent, not with the perfect idea either. It starts with the conscious decision to believe in your own ability. Think about it physiologically. If your mind's default is, I can't do this, this is too hard, your body actually listens. It holds back energy, it avoids risk, it literally won't even try properly.
It conserves resources.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But when your mind shifts, when it says, okay, I will find a way, I can figure this out, it signals your whole system, your focus, your energy, your creativity to line up behind that goal. The world kind of moves with you then.
That's a key distinction, isn't it? It's not about blind faith, like pretending challenges don't exist. It's more like giving yourself internal permission.
That's a great way to put it. Internal permission. The green light to take that first step, even if it's messy.
And the good news is, belief isn't some fixed talent you're born with, right? The research is clear. You build it.
Absolutely. It's built. It accumulates like saving small change. You build it through, well, incremental self-trust.
How does that work in practice?
The sources really emphasize this. Every single time you commit to something, even something small, and you actually follow through. Like showing up when you're tired. Or trying that difficult task you've been avoiding. Or even just speaking up with an idea when your voice is shaking a bit.
Okay.
Each time you do that, you send a signal back to your brain. And that signal says, hey, I can trust myself. I'm someone who follows through. Belief, in this sense, is just the evidence you gather over time, proof of your capability.
So it's action-creating belief, not the other way around.
Mostly, yes. You accumulate it action by action. You challenge that inner voice that says you're not good enough.
But what about when the world pushes back? When you genuinely fail or people discourage you, how do you keep that internal belief going against external reality?
That's where real conviction comes in. That's the difference maker. Let's talk about Jake's story from the sources.
Okay, Jake.
Jake grew up somewhere with, not many opportunities, wasn't the star student, wasn't the natural athlete.
Things I've overlooked.
Totally. And worse, teachers actually told him, lower your expectations, Jake.
Yeah.
Peers ignored him. The external world was constantly feeding him evidence that he should just settle, play it safe.
And that rejection didn't stop in school, did it? The sources mentioned his job hunt.
No, it continued. He failed his first job interview. Okay, happens. Then he failed the second. Then the third, fourth, fifth job interview failed.
Wow, imagine carrying that. 5 rejections in a row. Most people, myself included probably, would start thinking, okay, maybe they're right. Maybe this is it for me.
You'd internalize it, right? Proof you're unworthy. You'd pivot, maybe quit that path entirely.
Yeah.
But Jake didn't. He kept going after the 5th rejection. Why? Because he had this, unwavering internal conviction, a belief in his future potential that was stronger than his current reality.
Despite all the evidence against him.
Despite everything. Years later, he builds this incredibly successful company, and when people asked him, what's your secret? He didn't talk about some genius business plan.
What did he say?
He just said, I always believed in myself, even when people I respected, told me I was dreaming too big. His belief wasn't based on what was true then. It was based on what he was determined to make true later.
That's powerful. Okay, so for someone listening right now, maybe feeling that doubt, feeling discouraged, how do we make Jake's conviction practical? How do we actually build that belief? The sources laid out 4 steps.
Yeah, 4 really concrete things you can do daily. The first one sounds simple, but it's maybe the hardest. It's a total communication reset. Talk to yourselves like you'd talk to a friend.
Okay, explain that.
We're often our own worst critics, right? We'd never say to a friend who's struggling, you're useless, just give up.
Right.
But we whisper versions of that to ourselves all the time.
Guilty as charged.
We all are. But you have to understand, your brain listens most closely to your own inner voice. It's constantly learning from it. So you have to consciously replace that self-criticism. Instead of, I can't, try, I can learn this. Instead of, I failed, try, I haven't figured out yet.
So you're actively managing the input.
You're literally reprogramming your default script, moving from paralysis towards possibility just with your internal language.
Makes sense. Okay, step 2 for building belief.
Step 2 is about momentum. Celebrate the small wins. Seriously small. Don't wait for the huge breakthrough, the finished book, the $1 million deal to feel good about yourself.
What kind of small wins?
Did you get up when the alarm went off instead of hitting snooze 5 times? Win. Did you finish that one task you were dreading? Win. Did you speak up in that meeting? Win. Did you choose the workout over the couch? Win.
Okay, micro victories.
Exactly. Acknowledge them. Pat yourself on the back internally. Each tiny win releases positive reinforcement, builds a little bit of confidence, making the next step feel slightly easier. Confidence is built brick by brick.
Right, it accumulates. Okay, 3rd strategy.
This one's about your environment. Surround yourself with positive energy. And this isn't just about, happy vibes. It's strategic.
Strategic how?
Protect your belief. Actively avoid people who consistently minimize your goals, who tell you success is only for special people. Find mentors, friends, even online groups who reinforce your capability, who believe in you.
Borrow belief.
Sometimes, yeah. The sources mention that. When your own belief tank is running low, you can strategically borrow some from people around you who see your potential. Being near people playing a bigger game naturally lifts your own sense of what's possible.
That's a great point. Okay, and the 4th step. This one feels important for perfectionists.
Oh, huge! Except imperfection. Perfectionism is the absolute enemy of getting started, and therefore the enemy of building belief. It demands this state of perfect readiness that just never arrives.
All right, I'll launch when it's perfect, which means never.
Exactly. You have to be willing to start messy, start scared, start unsure. But the key is, just start. Now, every imperfect attempt is infinitely more valuable than perfect planning that never leads to action. Because every attempt, messy or not, generates evidence. It gives your brain proof. It strengthens that initial flicker of belief. You don't wait for belief to act. You act, even imperfectly, to create belief.
Okay, so belief gets the engine started. It gives you permission. But what keeps it running? That's where consistency comes in. We're blending lessons 2 and 5 here, which really dig into sustained, quiet growth. This is different from those big, flashy bursts of effort, right?
Totally different. And honestly, this is where most people fall down. They confuse motivation with discipline, with consistency.
What's the difference in practice?
Motivation, the sources say, is like a spark. It's emotional, exciting, loud, And it burns out fast. It gets you started, maybe.
Yeah, that first week of enthusiasm.
Right, but consistency, that's the slow-burning fire. It's quiet, it's steady, it's what keeps you going when it's dark and cold, and that initial spark is long gone.
Yeah.
Real success is almost never about one heroic effort.
It's about
Showing up every single day. Doing the work, often the boring, repetitive work, even when you feel zero inspiration. That's the engine.
And that monotony, that's actually the secret weapon.
It is. Because it allows for what the sources call the power of invisible progress. We see the athlete break the world record, right? Huge moment.
Sure.
We don't see the 5 years, the thousands of hours of grinding, monotonous practice that got them there. Most progress is invisible at first.
Like planting a seed.
Exactly like planting a seed. That's the analogy they use. You water it every day for weeks, maybe months. Nothing seems to happen above ground. It looks futile.
And that's when people quit.
That's when they stop watering because they need that immediate reward. But underneath the surface, the roots are growing, spreading deep, anchoring the plant, getting ready for that burst of growth that eventually seems to come out of nowhere.
But it wasn't out of nowhere.
Not at all. It was built quietly, day by day. The sources back this up with data on compounding effort. Think about the gym example.
Okay.
Going once or twice feels good, changes basically nothing long term. Going consistently 3, 4, 5 times a week for 3 months, that changes your habits, your discipline, your body, your identity. It's the small, daily 1% improvements that stack up exponentially.
That invisible progress becomes unstoppable. Let's make this real with Ryan's story, The Invisible Hustler.
Yeah, Ryan's a great case study for this. He decides he wants to be a video creator. Starting point, 0 skills, terrible camera, no followers, nothing.
Ambitious goal, 0 resource.
Right. But his core commitment wasn't about being amazing right away. It was about the schedule. He made this vow. I will upload 1 video every single day, no matter what.
Regardless of quality, views, anything.
Didn't matter. Good video, bad video, 5 views, 0 views upload. That commitment removed the daily decision fatigue. He wasn't asking, should I make a video today?
He was thinking.
I must make a video today. It's upload day.
And the sources really highlight how tough this was at the start, right?
Oh, brutal. For months, virtually no one watched. Friends probably laughed or at least thought he was wasting his time. Classic example. Working incredibly hard, day in, day out, for absolutely 0 immediate reward.
But he didn't stop.
He didn't stop, day after day, video after video. And with each one, maybe he got 1% better at editing, or 1% better at scripting, or figured out the lighting just a tiny bit more. Tiny, tiny improvements.
Compounding.
Compounding. Until eventually one video built on the foundation of hundreds of those tiny improvements hit. It found an audience, went viral, he became known, an inspiration.
But the success wasn't the point.
The viral success wasn't the point was the process. The 1% rule in action. Improve just 1% a day. After 100 days, you're not just 100% better. The combined effect of skills, discipline, better systems, it makes you exponentially stronger, more capable.
You don't need to be the best starting out.
You just need to be there every day, showing up, getting that 1% better.
Okay, so how do we build a system for that? Because willpower alone isn't enough, right? It runs out.
Willpower is finite. You need a system. The sources give us 4 key parts to building a consistency engine.
Lay them on us.
First, start small, ridiculously small even. This comes straight from behavioral science. It's about lowering the activation energy. Meaning if your goal is, say, write for 2 hours every day on a low motivation day, that feels like climbing Everest. Massive barrier. You won't start.
Okay.
But if your commitment is write 1 paragraph or read for 5 minutes, the resistance just melts away. It's too small to fail.
And you can always do more if you feel like it.
Exactly. Small actions done daily always beat big, heroic actions done once in a blue moon. You build momentum from the tiny commitment.
Smart. Okay, component 2.
This one's clever. Use triggers. It's about habit stacking. You link the new habit you want to build onto an existing routine you already do without thinking. Instead of just hoping you'll remember to meditate, you decide. I will meditate for 2 minutes immediately after I pour my morning coffee. Coffee is the trigger. Or I will plan my next day for 5 minutes right after I finish washing the dinner dishes. Dishes are the trigger.
So you anchor the new habit.
You anchor it to something automatic. No need for reminders or willpower. The context itself triggers the action.
Nice. Third component.
Track your progress visibly. Use a calendar, a notebook, an app, whatever works. Put a big X on the days you complete your tiny habit.
Why does seeing it matter?
It creates this powerful psychological effect. You're building a chain. The sources call it the don't break the chain method. As that chain of X's gets longer,
You really don't want to break it.
exactly, the motivation shifts. It's not just about doing the habit, it's about protecting the streak. The longer the streak, the higher the emotional cost of breaking it. It creates its own momentum.
Okay, that leads perfectly into the fourth rule, which seems crucial for long-term success.
Absolutely essential. Stay consistent, not perfect.
Yeah.
This is the safety net. You're human. You will have an off day. You'll get sick. Something unexpected will happen. You will miss once.
And that's okay.
It's totally okay. The key is forgive yourself immediately. No guilt spirals. Just acknowledge it, maybe figure out why, and get back on track tomorrow. But, and this is the non-negotiable part, never miss twice.
Never miss 2 days in a row.
Never. That's the firewall. Missing 1 day is a slip-up. Missing 2 days. That starts to feel like quitting. It signals a shift in identity.
Oh, so?
Missing once means, okay, I had a bad day, but I'm still a consistent person. Missing twice starts whispering, maybe I'm not that consistent person after all. Maybe I'm someone who quits. The momentum shifts from maintaining the streak to having to start over, which feels much harder.
Wow. Okay, never miss twice. That's the rule.
That's the critical rule for long-term adherence.
And all these things starting small, triggers tracking, never miss twice, they eventually lead to something deeper, right?
They lead to an identity shift. You stop hoping to become consistent and you start being consistent. You internalize it. Stop saying, I want to be a writer. Start saying, I am a writer. Stop saying, I want to exercise regularly. Start saying, I am someone who exercises.
Making it who you are, not just something you do.
Exactly. When it becomes part of your identity, the effort required to maintain it drops significantly. It's just what you do.
All right, so we've got the belief to get started, the consistency engine to keep moving. But the journey isn't smooth. There are bumps, roadblocks, internal struggles. We need armor.
We absolutely do. And that's where the resilient mind comes in. This section tackles those inevitable threats, the doubt, the fear, the setbacks, the failures. Lesson 4, zeroes in on doubt.
Which the sources call the dream killer.
Because it's an inside job, right? It comes from within us. That little voice whispering, who do you think you are? Or what if you fail and everyone sees? Or you're not smart enough for this.
That nagging voice.
That nagging voice. But here's the crucial psychological insight from the research. Doubt is normal. Everyone feels it. Every single successful person you can think of, top athletes before a game, CEOs before a big launch, artists before showing their work, they all feel doubt.
So feeling doubt doesn't mean you're on the wrong track?
Not at all. The difference isn't that they don't feel doubt. The difference is they don't let doubt make the decisions. The core message here is so important. Courage is not the absence of doubt. It's taking action in spite of doubt.
Acting anyway.
Acting anyway.
I really liked the analogy they used about the shadow of doubt. Can you unpack that?
Yeah, it's a great visual. It basically says doubt feeds on inaction. If you stand still, frozen by fear or indecision, think about your shadow. It stretches out long and dark and huge in front of you.
Opening over you.
Exactly. Blocks your view, makes the path ahead seem terrifying. Doubt gets louder and stronger the longer you delay.
But what happens when you move?
The moment you take a step forward, even a tiny hesitant step, where does your shadow go?
Behind you.
Behind you, the light changes. Action is the antidote. It starves doubt. When you act, you take that vague, scary what if and turn it into concrete reality. Okay, I tried this. Here's what actually happened. Now you have data. Now you can adjust. Small actions build proof that counters the fear. You literally outrun your shadow by moving.
That makes so much sense. Lena's story illustrated this perfectly, didn't it?
Oh, Lena's story is classic doubt paralysis overcome by tiny action. She was really talented, apparently, but painfully shy. Her inner critic was relentless. You're too quiet. No one cares what you think. You'll just freeze up.
So doubt kept her stuck.
For years. Prevented her from going after her passion, which was communication, ironically. She was trapped until a mentor gave her this incredibly small, almost trivial assignment.
What was it?
Speak for just 1 minute, in class, about something totally safe and non-controversial. Just 1 minute.
Okay, manageable.
Manageable, but still terrifying for her. Her hands were shaking, voice trembling, but she did it. She got through the minute. And that single minute, that was the first crack in the dam of doubt.
The first piece of counter evidence.
Exactly. The fear didn't actually kill her. She survived. So she did it again. 1 minute, then maybe 3, then 5. She kept taking those small actions, building evidence against the doubt. And today,
She teaches public speaking.
teaches public speaking. It's an amazing turnaround. But the transformation didn't start with finding confidence somewhere. It started with one tiny action that proved her doubt wrong. Confidence followed the action. It didn't precede it.
Action silences fear. Okay. Building on that, lesson 6 is about crafting an unshakable mindset. What does that mean practically? How do you handle setbacks when they inevitably happen?
An unshakable mindset means you don't let failure define you. You see setbacks not as stop signs, but as, well, data points, lessons. It means staying relatively calm, focused, even positive when things go wrong.
Sounds good, but hard to do.
It is hard because it requires understanding a key distinction. You are not your negative thoughts. Thoughts come and go. You are the observer. You are the one who chooses which thoughts to believe and which to just let float by.
So mindset training is like becoming the bouncer at the door of your mind.
Ah, I like that. Yeah, you're the guardian of your cognitive space. You decide what gets in and what gets attention. So training the mind is like training a muscle. It requires practice.
How do we train it?
Yeah.
The sources gave 3 daily practices.
Yes, 3 crucial habits.
Yeah.
First, feed your mind daily and be intentional about it. Think about your media diet.
Okay.
We're swimming in fear-based news, comparison-driven social media. Consuming that constantly is like feeding your mind junk food. It weakens resilience, fuels anxiety.
So curate the input.
Fiercely. Actively choose to consume things that inspire growth books, podcasts like this one, hopefully, conversations with positive people. Protect your attention because what you focus on expands. Feed your mind possibility, not fear.
Got it. Mental nutrition. What's the second practice?
This one is about emotional regulation. Learn to respond, not react. This is where true personal power lies.
Respond, not react. What's the difference?
When something bad happens, you get criticism, you lose a client, whatever, the untrained mind reacts instantly, emotionally. Panic, anger, frustration, flight or fight.
Yeah, the knee-jerk reaction.
Exactly. The resilient mind, however, inserts a pause, just a beat, a conscious breath. And in that tiny gap, it asks, okay, what can I learn here? Or what's one thing I can control right now?
The pause is the power.
That 1-second pause is everything. It lets your rational brain catch up to your emotional brain. It shifts you from victim to actor. You turn setbacks into feedback. But it takes practice, consciously inserting that pause every time you feel triggered.
Makes sense. And the third mental exercise.
This one's proactive. Visualize success. Winners, the sources argue, consistently see the finish line before they start the race. You need to regularly, vividly imagine achieving your goals.
With daydreaming.
More structured than that. See it, feel it. What does success look like? What are the steps involved? What obstacles might come up? And how you handle them.
Why does this work?
It's not magic. It's training your brain. You're priming your neural pathways to recognize opportunities related to your goal, to anticipate challenges, to believe the outcome is possible, even inevitable. You're feeding your brain a future reality, making it feel familiar and achievable.
Okay, this final section feels like it brings everything together. We've built the inner strength, belief, consistency, resilience. Now, how do we apply that to go after really big, ambitious goals? It starts with understanding that basically anything is possible, right? Lesson 3.
Yeah, lesson 3 is about expanding your sense of possibility. The core idea is that the only real limits are the ones we impose on ourselves through doubt. Look at history, human flight, landing on the moon, mapping the genome. These things were all considered impossible until someone refused to believe it.
The real enemy isn't the dream, it's the doubt.
Precisely. Progress is never neat or linear. There will be obstacles, setbacks, moments you feel lost. But the sources emphasize. Every obstacle just proves you're still in the game, still moving forward.
I loved that mental flip they suggested. Break down the word impossible.
Ah, yeah. See it not as impossible, but as I'm possible.
Yeah, impossible.
That tiny shift changes everything. It moves you from seeing limits to seeing potential. Achievers look at a huge challenge and instinctively start asking, okay, how can I break this down? What's the first step?
It makes the impossible seem,
Better.
well, possible. The story of Lucas really drove this home.
Lucas, the janitor. What a story. His dream was to be a professional public speaker.
And the reaction?
Ridicule. Total dismissal. People literally told him, you clean floors, Lucas. Stick to what you know.
They defined him by his current circumstances.
But he didn't accept that definition.
Not for a second. He didn't have a stage. Fine. He used the empty classrooms he cleaned after hours. He studied speaking, wrote scripts, practiced his delivery to empty chairs.
Applying the consistency principles.
Exactly. He recorded one short practice video a week, consistently. Started from nothing. He used his current reality as his training ground, visualizing the audience while he worked. Total commitment to the possibility he saw, not the limits others placed on him.
And the outcome. A year or so later, Through that relentless, consistent effort and unwavering belief, he was invited to give a major speech on the very same stage he used to mop.
Wow. That's incredible because he refused to accept limits.
He chose possibility over limitation.
Which leads directly, and maybe starkly, into the final lesson, lesson 7, the warning against the silent dream killer.
Settling.
Settling. The sources are really blunt about this, aren't they?
Extremely. They say most people don't actually fail because they aimed too high and missed. They fail because they aimed way too low and hit the target. Tragically.
Ooh, that hurts.
It's meant to. Settling is when you consciously accept a life, a job, a relationship, a level of health that is fundamentally less than what you're capable of.
And we disguise it, right, as being realistic.
Or practical, or comfortable. But the sources have that great line, comfort zones are beautiful places.
Yeah.
But nothing ever grows there.
The settling feels safe short term.
But it guarantees long-term pain, regret, a sense of unfulfillment. We are wired for growth, for striving. Denying that is a kind of slow spiritual death.
It's when you say, this job is okay, it pays the bills, even though it drains your soul, or this relationship is fine, better than being alone, even though it doesn't truly lift you up.
Choosing the known misery of stagnation over the unknown possibility of growth, because growth feels scary, hard, risky.
So how do we fight that gravitational pull towards comfort? How do we actively choose to rise, not settle? The sources gave 5 strategies.
Yes, 5 ways to combat settling. First, and it's foundational, raise your standards. Your life mirrors what you tolerate, period.
Tolerate from others, from yourself.
Both. If you tolerate disrespect, you'll get disrespect. If you tolerate stagnation in your career, you'll stay stagnant. If you tolerate low energy and poor health, that's what you'll experience. Raising your standards isn't about being arrogant, it's about self-respect. It's acknowledging your worth and refusing to participate in things that diminish it.
Demanding more from life and from yourself. Okay, second strategy. This one sounds tough.
It requires courage. Be willing to walk away. If a situation of a job, a dynamic, an environment is consistently killing your spirit, draining your energy, holding you back, you have to cultivate the self-respect to leave.
Even if it's scary, even if you don't know what's next.
Especially then. Staying in a life that feels wrong out of fear or obligation.
Yeah.
The sources call that self-abandonment. You need to be able to look at a situation and say, this is not good enough for the person I am becoming. My future self deserves better.
Choosing the unknown over the known misery. Okay. Third strategy for rising.
Manage your inputs again. Surround yourself with people who see your potential. You know the saying, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Yeah.
The data suggests it's largely true. If you're always the smartest, most ambitious person in your circle, you might need a new circle, or at least to expand it. Seek out people who challenge you, who operate at a higher level, who inspire you, who hold you accountable to your potential, not your past.
Level up your environment. Fourth.
This requires faith. Trust the bigger picture. Often when something collapses, you lose the job, the relationship ends, we panic. We see it only as failure, loss.
Yeah, it feels like the end of the world.
But very often that breakdown is actually necessary. It's clearing space. It's the start of a breakthrough to something better, something more aligned. You have to trust that sometimes letting go of the good is required to make space for the great. Don't cling to crumbs when a feast might be waiting.
Trust the process, even when it's messy. Okay, and the fifth and final strategy.
Keep the engine running. Keep leveling up. Growth isn't a destination you arrive at. The goal isn't to find a comfortable plateau and just stay there, safe. It's about continuous improvement.
Always learning.
Always learning new skills, building better habits, thinking bigger thoughts, speaking more boldly. It's the journey. Remember Olivia's example?
The one who hated her job.
Hated her safe, comfortable job because it was crushing her spirit. She finally quit, sold stuff, took a leap, and started her dream podcast. Why? Because she stopped settling for a life that wasn't hers. And that decision unlocked her potential and her happiness. It's about constantly choosing growth over comfort. #tag outro.
Wow. Okay, so let's try and wrap this all up. This blueprint for unstoppable growth. It really is an internal journey, isn't it?
Absolutely. It starts inside. With that radical self-belief, giving yourself permission to even try.
Then you fuel it with those consistency systems, starting small, tracking, using triggers, and that crucial rule.
Never miss twice. That protects the momentum.
And then you shield the whole process with a resilient mindset, learning to handle doubt, respond, not react, and crucially refusing that temptation to just settle.
Exactly. And the big takeaway from all the source material is that greatness, real achievement, it isn't really about some external gift like talent or luck.
It's built in the quiet moments, in the daily decisions. Choosing discipline when comfort calls your name. Choosing growth when safety feels easier. You're making that choice constantly with every small action you take or don't take.
Which brings us to our final thought, our challenge for you listening right now. For you, the person ready to move from just dreaming to actually doing, the essence of all this wisdom seems to be, the world cannot shake someone who is truly steady on the inside.
Powerful.
So thinking about everything we've unpacked today, building belief, mastering consistency, strengthening mindset, what is one tiny action, following that start small rule that you can commit to today?
Just one small thing.
Yeah.
What action can you take right now to start building that inner evidence, that proof that you are capable?
Where will you start your chain today so you have something to protect tomorrow, ensuring you never miss twice?
That's the question.
Thank you so much for diving deep with us today. We hope this blueprint provides some real clarity and practical tools for your own journey. If this resonated, if you found value here and you're ready to put these ideas into practice,
Please do hit that like button and definitely subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our future deep dives.